Hi everyone, welcome to the Woolly Wonka Fibers podcast. My name is Anne. Today is Sunday, November 13th. It is a beautiful early winter, late fall day. It's nice and crisp here this morning. I was just outside with the dogs, playing some ball and letting them kind of trot around and do their thing, burn off a little steam because it's all nice and crisp outside. This is a podcast about my indie design business. I'm going to talk about my knitting, my spinning, and a few little crafty, stitchy projects at the end. I hope you guys have been doing well. We are coming up really fast on Thanksgiving here in the United States. My folks are coming into town the Tuesday. I guess they get in late Monday. But we're about 2 hours from our airport, and so normally if they come in fairly late, they're coming from the East Coast out here to New Mexico, they usually stay overnight or drive halfway, get to Santa Fe, and then get up in the morning and walk around in the plaza, do some stuff there, have coffee and breakfast, and then eventually come up the hill to visit us. But they should be here Tuesday afternoon for Thanksgiving, which is not this week, but then next week. Can't believe I'm saying that. That's just crazy talk. The fall has just kind of rushed by. I think partially, for at least for me, because we had such warm weather so late. It's I mean, we even have a day this week where it's supposed to be close to 70, and then it's going to drop back down into the upper 50s, lower 60s, which is a lot more fall-like than 70 degrees in my book. So I think because we had such a long lasting, prolonged Indian summer here, I'm just finally feeling like it's fall, and here it is already the middle of November. So whoosh, that was the time zipping by this year. So anyway, I hope you guys are all doing well wherever you are in your neck of the woods. Couple of administrative things to talk about. Just wanted to remind folks that there are a couple of class slots left if you're interested in taking my beginning lace knitting class at Yarn and Coffee in Santa Fe. They are located on Cerrillos Road. That will be occurring this coming Saturday, which is November 19th. I think I missed putting a link to the shop in last week's notes, so I'm going to try for that again this week. I have a note to self to do that, so if you are interested, you can call the shop or click through to their website and leave Deborah a comment letting her know that you might like to take that class. Let's see. Okay, so class stuff, that's done. Wanted to talk to you guys about a new release, which I'm really excited about. This will be releasing tomorrow, which is Monday, November 14th. And for the second year, I was asked to do a microbrew club colorway for Jimmy Beans Wool. So this is an exclusive colorway that they'll be carrying the month of November. And each of their months are themed on something. And so when they contacted me last year after I had done one of the Settlers of Catan packs of the little transitional skeins, they had contacted me because that was a really good seller for them and asked if I would do it again this year. And I said, well, what are the themes that you guys have going? And so November was going to be Harry Potter, so I just jumped on that bandwagon. That was something that I wanted to do. I already had a colorway in mind. And so the colorway will be exclusive to them through November, and then after that you can also order it in my shop. I have an exclusive thing with them for the month of November, and then it'll revert to me. So the colorway is Luna, and it is a speckle dye. It is a really pale pink base, and then there are specks of a dark rose, a light purple, and a darker purple. And I designed a very straightforward single skein project to go with it. So the pattern will be available on Ravelry. You don't have to buy the yarn to get the pattern. The pattern's totally standalone, but if you wanted to get the two of them together, you certainly could. So this is the Luna shawl. It's a very simple, very elongated crescent shape. I have it modeled here as I would probably wear it, with the slightly higher neckline kind of tucked around a collar and popped into a coat. And I just had this pretty little shawl pin holding it closed. It has a cable pattern on the bottom that kind of looks like Luna's spectrograph spectacles. There's a kind of figure 8 shape cable. So you start at the bottom on this, and then you work up to the top edge that's finished off with this little picot trim. It's shaped with a few short rows, but nothing too scary. You do need to know how to read charts because the cable is charted, but it's not a hard cable to do. It's pretty straightforward, and once you get it set up, you just repeat it the whole way around. It's nothing crazy. So again, it takes 1 skein of fingering weight yarn. The sample was a 435 yard skein. It's my Aran Road, the sparkle base. And so you could knit it with most fingering weight yarns. If you have a little bit less yardage, you'd need to take out one of the repeats of the cable pattern in order to make things work. So you might have to jigger the numbers a little bit. So if you're looking for a replacement skein, the slightly larger fingering weight ones, the 435 yarders or 430 yarders are a better bet than the shorter 400 yard ones. So I'm really excited about this colorway. I love how it came out. I'm really excited about the pattern. Anyway, so the pattern will be available on Ravelry as a PDF download. You can pick it up at any point in time that you like. Like I said, the yarn will be available through Jimmy Beans Wool through the month of November. So I will put a link to their main website in the show notes. You probably will have to wait if you're desperate to have this colorway. I don't believe they're going to pull the trigger on it until the 15th, which is Tuesday. So you might have to wait a day to pick that up if you're so inclined. So that's it for kind of shop-oriented notes. Let's talk about knitting things. I am this close, people, to finishing the colorwork mittens I'm working on. I believe it's 2 decreases left for the very top of the hand and the thumb to knit. That is on the docket today. Once I'm done recording my podcast, I'm going to finish those up, and then they can have photos taken, and they are ready to go off to my ATE, and they're being tested as we speak. So happy to have those done. The next thing that I'm going to kind of focus on in terms of secret knitting projects is another pair of socks that I'm doing for the spring filament collection. So those are already started, but I just have the toe done. So those will be my focus project for the week. I do have another FO to share with you guys. I have finished the first pair of my holiday gifting socks. These are for my nephew Charlie. They are the Griffyndor self-striping colorway from Mint Rain Yarns. She has an Etsy shop. And then I dyed up the My Colorway Soot for the heels to do a little contrast, which I really like. I think it kind of, it reminds me a little bit of the kids' robes at Hogwarts. So I thought that was kind of a nice neutral color. 60 stitches circumference, 2x2 rib at the top. I just knit down on US size 1s, the 2.25 millimeter needles, tucked in a Fish Lips Kiss heel with the contrast color, and then I did my usual kind of boxy rounded toe for the tips. So these are done. They are blocked. They are dry. I'm going to try to find a really cute little Gryffindor tag to include with these, you know, something like Welcome to Hogwarts, something like that. And so I'll include that on as the wrapper for these. And I'll put some care instructions on there for his mom so she's not confused, overwhelmed, whatever, with hand knit socks. So these bad boys are done. The next thing that I'm working on for personal knitting is a second pair of holiday socks, which I've wound the yarn for, and I'll cast on for those this week. These are going to be for my other nephew. They are a Desert Vista Dye Works colorway on her Viso base, which is the 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and the colorway is We Salute You. And it is, as you might guess, very patriotic. So it's going to be red and white stripes and contrast heels and toes in this dark navy blue with some little white speckles. Very fun. So these are next. On to the needles. I just realized that I needed to go grab some of my spinning stuff, which we're going to talk about next. So if you guys will hold on one second, I'm going to go grab that and I will be right back. Sorry about that. I thought I was more organized than I was. So anyway, that was it for knitting. Let's move on to spinning. I am working on the Little Fall colorway from Funky Carolina in an 80-20 merino silk blend. I don't know why I was having trouble getting that out. I guess my brain is not together yet this morning. So here is bobbin 1, completely finished. The singles, so that's the first 2 ounces. And then I have already started the second bobbin of singles. I am probably just over halfway done with those. So my plan is to try to get the singles finished up and then ply everything this week and have this done to show you guys next time I record. So once I finish that, this is also a spin the bin fiber from this year. I have 3 batches left and that's it. I have this little batch of hand-carded Angora merino bats that were gifted to me as part of a swap. It's under 2 ounces. It's 1.85 ounces. And it's 30% Angora and 70% superfine merino. So these I think need to get spun before they, get old and potentially felt in this bag. They seem like they're in okay shape still. But anyway, so I have these left to do, and these I'll spin pretty fine. I suspect when I'm done with those, I will dye that in some fashion. I'm not sure what I want to do with it, but the Angora will make the fiber very warm, the finished yarn very warm, and I'm not sure I would wear plain white. I don't have a lot of color going on, so something with color would be my preference. So we'll see what happens with those. I then have a braid of, it's 50-50 baby alpaca and superfine merino. The colorway is charcoal and it's from Pigeon Roof Studios. So I have that to spin. And finally, the last thing that I have is a braid of superwash merino in the colorway Boardwalk from 2If by Hand, which is a gradient. The charcoal merino, this one, I suspect I'll wind up spinning this pretty fine as well to do a shawl with. The alpaca will also make this one fairly warm. And it's a great neutral. So I'm thinking if I spun it as fingering weight, or light fingering weight, I can do multiple things with it. I could either do a shawl or I could do a KAL, could combine it with another hand paint. I just think that'll give me some options. I haven't decided how I want to spin this one. I was thinking maybe socks, which means another fingering weight spin. And I want to keep it as a gradient. So I probably will split this one, split the roving in half lengthwise, and then spin it that way. I could also do it as a chain ply, but I don't like those as much. So anyway, I have to think about how I want to spin those. So I'm not sure which of those 3 I'll tackle next. It probably will be this one just to make a decision on it and get it spun and get it out of the bin. So anyway, that leaves me 2 4 ounces and then a 1.8 ounce batch, which is just under 10 ounces. I think I can do that. Anyway, that's my plan. First, I got to finish up the merino silk singles from Funky Carolina. And then while we're on the topic of spinning, I wanted to share a couple of things I got as haul this week. These are both from the Ocean Wind Knits Fiber Club that my friend Lori runs. Here's the first one, Inspiration. It's concert posters from 1967. And this is on her organic merino roving. It's got a lot of white, but also some dusty plums, kind of a dark rose, navy blue, a little bit of olivey green. Really, really soft. It's gorgeous fiber. So I have that that's just come in. And I also got the November fiber. So this is the Doors. Oh, sorry, this is the September Club. Another concert poster from the Fillmore. The Doors and Jim Kweskin Jug Band. June 9th and 10th, 1967. So this is a superwash merino roving. And similar colors, but slightly brighter. There's a little bit more yellow in there and less purple and more rosy red. Both really pretty, super soft. Yeah, so I'm going to enjoy spinning those. Those are great. I like those both. Oh, I wanted to mention, I knew there was something else. We have decided to do a spin from your stash project next year. I've already got a couple folks who said they would be interested. I'm going to set up a thread in the Woolly Wonka Fibers group on Ravelry. It'll be very casual. I thought I would set that up for December 1st, and that way we can talk about some goals, what we want to try to accomplish, some plans for 2017, what your focus is going to be, if you're going to do 100% spin from stash, if you're going to include some other things. If you'd like to participate in that, again, come and join us. We'd love to have you. Very, very casual. We're not going to do anything crazy. I was thinking that it might be good to have like one challenge per month. And again, casual. Or it would be something like spin something from your stash that has blue in it. Spin something from your stash that is a wool blend, wool and something. Spin something from your stash that's that's older than 3 years marinating. I thought that might be fun to give us a chance to kind of maybe grab some things that have been calling to us and spin something that would be maybe outside your normal plan box for the month, because I find that fun, and I think it kind of keeps you motivated to have something new, even if it is something from stash that's been marinating for a very long time. So I think that's what we'll do. Like I said, I'm going to have that thread set up. It'll open December 1st. Lots of chit chat, whatever you guys want to include in there. Yeah, I think that'll be fun. I know I'm going to try to do that. Like I said last week, I'm not going to count my club and Lori's Ocean Wind Knits Fiber Club, because those I know are things that I've already decided that are happening next year. But other than that, I'm not going to particularly add to my stash. I'm not going to go cold sheeping, but I'd like to, do my best to do that. I have so many beautiful, beautiful fibers that I think I really want to focus on, converting more of those into yarn. I've really enjoyed doing the Spin the Bin project this past year. It's been great to kind of remember I had these things, and I think for me that's one of the hardest things about stash, right? You can't just leave it sitting out. If you have a stash of any size, you can't just leave it sitting out. And as a result, you wind up putting it into a storage bin or storage bags of some kind. And then out of sight, out of mind, right? You think, oh, well, I don't have anything that pretty. I'll just get that. And then years go by and you wind up with a stash that fills an entire wall. Just saying. Okay, spinning is done. I have a whole bunch of stitchy type projects to share with you guys. I wanted to get some things off my plate. My husband is away. He will be gone through Tuesday. So I've been home by myself this weekend. Did some work yesterday. I'm going to do a little bit of work today, but I'm going to do some other things like go and get my flu shot and make some tea this afternoon and maybe enjoy a movie. I've been hanging out with the dog girls. So my husband called last night and he's always really good about checking in and said that he had just gotten into his hotel and he was going to run out and grab dinner, and it was, I think, almost 8 o'clock. He said, so what are you guys doing? I said, oh, I'm sitting with the dogs and we're watching a Sandra Bullock movie. And he was like, that's perfect. Because that's not, if we have a date night, we try to pick something we know both of us will like. He's not a huge chick flick movie kind of guy. And he'll watch things occasionally with me. Like he can usually stomach historic period pieces like a Jane Austen piece, but he is not into chick flicks. And so last night I watched Practical Magic. Do you guys remember that one? Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock both, Aidan Quinn as the love interest, and Diane Weiss and Stockard Channing as the crazy aunts in their witchy house. Anyway, we watched that last night, which was fun, and I had a great time, and I did some stitching while I watched it, and the dogs mostly slept, but it was still fun. Anyway, there may be a repeat of that happening tonight with some other chick flick kind of movie. But I took advantage of him not being here yesterday and just having the house to myself to putter. I cleaned up some of the space in my craft area, my work table. I sorted stuff, put things into project bags, so I kind of have a assembly line, if you will, things that needed to get done. And then I concentrated on getting some other finishes done. So I have finished all of my Christmas gift ornaments and wanted to show those to you guys. I did all of these as little pillow finishes. So here's the first one. This one, you'll recognize the little snowman ornament that I finished last time. Just finished it with a little simple grosgrain ribbon hanger and bow. And I used the same fabric for the back of all of these because I really like this kind of, it's not like country, but it has that sort of homespunny look to it. So I finished this one. That one's ready to go in the gift box. I also finished this one for my folks. Little backing. You know, it helps that all of the designs I picked were primitive and they were all done on this sort of color off-white, almost khaki colored linen. This is a different color than the other two, but they all have the same kind of palette. And I think that fabric then worked with all of them. And then this little guy with the hot chocolate. I'm really happy with how this one came out. I liked the ribbon that I picked for the bow. I just think that's really cute. So those are all done. They are ready to go into gift boxes, and yeah. So sometimes, you know, it's kind of like stitching buttons on a sweater. It seems to take forever to get that accomplished, and I'm not sure why, right? Because once they're done, they're done. But yeah. These little things are incredibly addictive, and I could totally see myself just making a whole slew of them just to make them. We have plenty of ornaments for our tree. My husband and I both, our families both did the tradition where you got an ornament for Christmas, and then when we became adults, those came to live with us, plus we've gotten other ones. So we have some ornaments that we don't even put on the tree. We have a couple of kind of older ones that are in fragile shape that we just don't even hang up. We enjoy looking at them in the box and then put the box closed. I have some mercury glass ones from my grandmother's tree that are, the glass is starting to chip away at the top where the little metal hanger goes into them. They're glass bulb shaped ones. So it's not like we need more ornaments, but boy, those are fun to make. They're quick, they're easy, a lot of bang for your buck. I think they're fun. And then this week I had my frame finally come, excuse me, for the Babushka's Blossoms project. And so I'm not quite done with this. This is sort of the first pass on it. Not too much glare there. But I got that done. I got it put on foam core and ready, mostly ready to go. Sorry for that little bit of reflection. I can't quite get rid of it. But anyway, I really like this frame. I ordered it from an Etsy seller called The Rusted Roof. And you just pop in what dimensions you want. So this is a 12 by 12 frame. I wanted a little bit of white space on all sides. And the design is not perfectly square. It's got more space here and here than it does here. But that's okay. I think it looks good in a square frame. It'd be very hard to do a true custom frame, I think, where you scrunch this down. I think it would look odd if it wasn't in a square. And then you pick the size and you pick the color finish. And he's got these kind of weathered wood finishes, as he calls them. This is technically black, but it winds up being, it reads to me as a really dark charcoal. And the wood is nothing special. It's just really basic pine, but you can get ones that have different, like this one I wanted to have it a little recessed. So I ordered this. He's got like 3 different ones. This is sort of the middle one, middle expense and middle detail one, and then he's got one that's just plain. It's completely flat. It would just be like this interior border, and then he's got one that's got kind of 2 steps. That's a little bit, there's this, and then there's another one, and then there's this piece that's a little more fancy, I guess I would call it. He has also got, aside from this finish, he's got 3 solid stain color ones, and this wasn't too bad. I think it came to $27 with the glass. And like I said, you can order the custom size, which was really nice, because this was not an easy, it's not an 8 by 8, which seems to be kind of the standard for square frames. So anyway, I need to finish securing the fabric on the back, and I need to put a backing on it, but that won't take me very long, and honestly, if I don't get to it, it can still go out on display as is. So I'm really pleased this is to this point. That was a good feeling that I got that far in it. And then the last thing I wanted to show you guys is I have almost finished my second block in the Berties year quilt that I'm working on. Eons ago, I can't even remember. It's been maybe sometime this past spring, early summer. I showed you this one. This is finished, and you've seen this one. This is the January block that I've done, and I have gotten the February block. Now I finished cutting out the border, and I sewed that this weekend, pieced all that together, and stitched that and the sashing on. I have a little bit of work left to do around this interior block. Is a little bit of kind of folksy embroidery. It'll be done in white. It's a different stitch, but you can see how this one's done here. This gets it not on the border, but actually between the border and the center applique block. So I have that left to do. It'll be in white. But other than that, this block is completely done. And here is, you can see on that where the embroidery goes. So that's what I have to finish on that. And the pattern calls for a daisy stitch, which I don't love. I don't love them. So I might just do a herringbone or something else to frame that. I think it would still look very similar to how it appears here, but we'll see. I'll do a couple sample ones and see what I like. So that was the February block. And I am doing these in order, but I'm not doing these on any kind of time frame, obviously, since I've been working on this one for ever and a day. Kind of took me getting over soreness from surgery to hit the cutting table and get the triangles cut out. But anyway, that is finished. D is for done, except for the embroidery. And next up then is March, which is adorable. I think this is Mrs. Bertie, but she's standing on a little bee skeep, and there's this little cute bumblebee in there and some shamrocks. How adorable is that? So that is next up. Again, I'm not sure when I will get to that. I want to definitely get this block completely done before I tackle this. I've started cutting some of the fabric, and I'll probably get the fabric for the blocks and everything cut in the short term, and then start on the applique part. So maybe over the Christmas holidays. My husband and I have committed, or should be committed. We've decided that we just cannot put it off any longer. We are ripping all the carpets out in our downstairs and replacing it with a laminate type floor. It's just, the carpet is old. It needs to come up. It's had one old dog and one puppy grow old and up on it. It needs to go. You know, there's only so many times you can steam clean carpets. And this carpet is ready to go. So anyway, the week that he is off between the holidays, that is our plan. We're going to go pick up the product, I think next week, maybe next weekend. So it has a little time to acclimate. It'll be here whenever we're ready to start, and then we can get going on that. So normally during that week, he and I have kind of a staycation. We don't usually travel for Christmas. We're usually here, and we're usually by ourselves, so it's very quiet, it's very nice, and we putter, we do stuff, we get up late, we read books, we go out to dinner occasionally, we watch some football. It's very nice and very casual. I think this year, because we have a lot of square footage down here, we actually have 3 rooms to do. I think it's gonna wind up taking us a while, so we'll see. We'll see. My mom and dad have this unspoken rule, or I guess it is spoken because I know of it, which is when you're doing home improvement projects, anything you and your significant other say to each other cannot be used in a court of law. So my husband and I kind of go with that. But, you know, as with anything, the husband, the wife have different opinions on how stuff ought to be done. And, you know, I don't mind just being the lackey, but then I only want to be the lackey. I don't want to make any decisions about stuff. It's like, you deal with that, you do the math, you do the calculations. If something gets screwed up, it's on you, it's not on me. But then I don't want to be asked to do extra stuff that's like outside my comfort zone. I mean, stand around and hand tools, I am excellent at that, but don't ask too much more of me. Or let me go crazy. Those are the 2 ends of my spectrum. So at any rate, we'll see how that goes. The point being, I'm not sure I'm going to get a lot of crafting done, and this is kind of a crafty thing for the holidays. I've got a ton of knitting to do, so that has to take priority. So I think that's it for everything this week. To talk about those, I did have like a whole set of things scattered out here. I wanted to thank all of my return viewers. I appreciate you tuning in and subscribing to the podcast. And I'd like to welcome anybody who's new if you've made it through this far with all of my stuff going on. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you'll come back and visit with me at some point in the future as well. I'm going to record again next weekend, but probably not the weekend after Thanksgiving. I think we'll take a break. We've got family here. I'd rather spend some time with my folks than come down here and record a podcast. At least that's how I feel at this moment. We'll see. If it winds up being a really quiet weekend, I may sneak that in, but probably not. So I will see you again next week, the 20th, the 21st of November. And until then, have a wonderful crafty week. I hope you get to spend some good time with family and friends wherever you are in the world, and some time for yourself. So have a great week, you guys. I will talk to you later.